In order to work with dates, we need to understand the various formulas and functions that dates use. As explained elsewhere, we need to make sure that Excel recognizes this as a date, and the one way to make sure it does is to format it to general, and what you'll see is that these all convert to numbers. But for now we're just going to undo, so we've got this. So in this example we want to look at a person's birthday, remove and split it into a day, month, year, so we can then pay a bonus in their month of their birth. Because of the way Excel works, even though it looks obvious that, for example, here the day is the 31st, keep in mind what Excel is seeing is actually that number, 28521. It's a lot harder to actually tell what day of the month it is. So in order for us to be able to extract that 31, we must use one of the functions called day, month, or year. So just to show you, if I go to my date and time, there's a whole bunch of specific functions for dates and time, and there's a function in Excel called day. You'll see it's a very simple function. All it asks is where's the date. If I point over here, it looks at the date in Excel's format and converts it and realizes that's the 31st of the month. So when I say OK, you'll see it gives 31. Same thing for the month function. All you need to do is point at a date and it extracts the month. And lastly, there's a function called year, and what it does is it looks at the date and pulls out the year. Now just to further emphasize how this works, if you are familiar with the left, right and mid functions, you may be tempted to use them, because for example, if I want to pull out the year, this says 1945, you may think it's as easy as going to the function wizard and using your left function. So if I use left, I'm going to point here and I'm going to say give me the first 4 characters, because it says 1945. When I say OK, it gives 1651 instead of 1945. The reason is, even though you see that, what Excel actually sees is 16511, 16,511 days from the 1st of January 1900. So Excel is saying, well, you want the left of that, there's 1651. So you have to realize that when you're working with dates and they're valid Excel dates, you must use one of these functions. And now when I copy it across, you'll see it correctly pulls out the correct day, month, year. If we now want to use these details to create a valid Excel date, we must apply the same logic. You cannot just concatenate or join the text together and hope that Excel sees it. So a better way to do that is to make use, under date and time, of the function called date. What's nice about this function is it's very specific. It asks you what's the year, the month, the day. So in this case, I'm going to say the year is over here, the month is over here, the birth month, and the day is over here. And what you'll see is it takes those numbers, converts it into a number that Excel recognizes, but for your purposes it'll format it as a date. So when I say OK, you'll see it shows that, and now I can copy it across. And this is a valid Excel date. If I format it as general, you'll see it gives you numbers.